A blessed Sunday to us. From the context of today's gospel reading, we have here a very important or interesting feature as a literary form. Precisely because you would always react immediately or a little bit later that Jesus' words are not the kind or the kinds that actually say peace, love, consideration, forgiveness. It's division. Kisa may dili makurat ana. No? But from the point of view of Luke's gospel, in the literary perspective, when we study literature, there are what we call forms or literary forms that actually are used in order to arrest or to catch the attention. No? To actually say something with a mura ba og sili bang halang that we react. And this is what Jesus is trying to do. Nganuman, we normally hear good news, beautiful words. That's why Ebanghelyo na, it's the gospel. It's a good thing. I know what it is all about. No? That's why to the point of always listening to this good news, mga pahimangno, mawad ang tagana. We already presume that we know what is the reading. But sometimes in one way or another, we have to be shocked. To shock our system in order to have an attention to it. And this is precisely what Jesus is doing in the Gospel of Luke. Who would have thought that he is saying this, that he is going to bring the earth on fire? Imagine. And the heaviest word there is division. And so we come into the details that Jesus is talking about in terms of the division in the household. Now, this is normally understood from the psychological point of view that a father always has a reaction to his son in terms of sons are always attracted to their mothers. That's the reason why naatay mga gitawag og usaman mama's boy. And also the fathers, naapoy, papa's girl. That's why the wife, the mother is also actually trying to react to that particular attraction. Why? Because it's the father and mother who are supposed to be, the husband and the wife. But there are now children clinging to them, and sometimes they are being brought apart precisely because adto bagyango mag-abusar ang mga lalaki kay mag-asalig sa inahan, ang mga babae sad tungod kay mulaban ang papa, something to that effect. That is just but a normal setting in the family. Another interesting thing here is, why is the son-in-law not included, only the daughter-in-law? I will not be surprised if I will ask any of you who is going to stand to support the idea that daughters-in-law usually have conflicts with their mothers-in-law. I don't know. Siguro tinuod mo yun na po. Kaya nga naman, the mother is concerned to the son. Remember, the son clinging to the mother. Maminyo na gali ng anak nga lalaki, natural, adto na siya sa iyang asawa. Nya ang mama, na. Oh, that's the reason why there is also this sometimes called a dynamics in the family. But these are just examples. This division can surely be obliterated or can surely be triumphed over, especially when the family is for the Lord. But it is always a reminder that even in our times, there are families, whether we like it or not, na Katoliko ang amahan o inahan, ang mga anak lain og relihiyon. No? Magkalahi-lahi diya sa pamilya. And this is not something that is new. It's always expected. But then, it is not a stoppage. Di na makapugong sa atong desire to serve the Lord. After all, it is the Lord that has to be served first. That's the reason why in terms of priorities that we make in our lives, there are so many different kinds. There are so many different colors or hues. No, daghan kayo nagkalain-lain nga paagi. But this is always the greatest prayer that we have, especially in the year of hope. That as we continue to do our pilgrimage of hope, we will always be one community, one family, and one church. But then, let us not lose hope and lose sight that the second reading today speaks about a cloud of witnesses. And who are these? The saints. These saints somehow during their lifetime may not necessarily be with their families. Some of them actually went out of their family, like St. Francis, for example, because they want to serve the Lord and against their family wish. And so, this is always a question of looking into examples that we have, but not forgetting that whether we like it or not, there is only one God that we have to serve. And as we continue this Eucharistic celebration, intensify our prayers that as a family and as a community, we will always be looking into the benefits of the people very close to us, and hopefully one day we will be marching as pilgrims towards that heavenly kingdom that God has promised, where we call God our Father because He is the only one that we serve, and He is the one who loves and cares for all of us as a family, as a community, as a town, as a city, as a nation, and as a church. Amen.